No, it's probably, check the little switch on the bottom that has the IA for automatic and see if it's turned on automatic. That's probably the reason. What? I've got to go at this point. Like we're going with whatever we got. Okay. Why can't I not hear myself? Hello. Okay. Starting five. No, starting five. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for Game 3 of the 2023 Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic. Please welcome our guests from East River High School. They are the Falcons. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Let's meet the teams. We'll start with East River. And we'll begin with 6'3" senior, number 0, Robert Gage. Point guard, 6' junior, number 1, John Paul Anderson. At small forward, 6'5", senior, number 3, Brandon Joseph. At 6'2", junior, number 20, Anthony Santos. And finally for the Falcons, 6'4", junior, number 30, Isaiah Williams. Falcons are coached by Scott O'Gallagher with assistant coach Chad Walker. And now let's meet the Blue Darters, home on the scoreboard wearing the white jerseys and starting with at shooting guard with 6'1", senior, number 1, Darren Leaf. At small forward, 6'3", junior, number 3, Jermichael Johnson. At forward, 6'4", junior, number 4, Jude Angerville. At power forward, 6'5", junior, number 5, Larson Taylor. And finally, for the Blue Darters, at shooting guard, 5'9", senior, number 24, Chase Marks. The head coach of the Blue Darters, Mr. Scott Williams, with assistant coaches Major Jackson, Derek Miley, John Sears, and Terrence Thomas. The official for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. For those of you here in the arena, thank you for braving the elements tonight to come out and support your Falcons and Blue Darters. If you have friends and family who were not willing to brave the elements and they're back at home, let them know that we are live streaming on YouTube and the NFHS network. And we want to welcome those of you who have done just that.
Hello.
Welcome to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barshey, the voice of the Mustang.
We are underway.
Okay, once again, welcome to Mustang Arena. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We had a loose connection on the clock there, and we are now underway. Welcome again to game number 3. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and we have to start off with a 2-point basket from Anthony Santos.
So a 2-2 score, 35 seconds in. Both these teams, of course, East River in the red jerseys with the white numbers, and Apopka with the white jerseys with the blue numbers, both their traditional uniforms. One Tuesday night in their first outing of the 2023-24 season. And no, that was not the intention. We're not doing it like a tournament where both teams win. It just happened to work out that way. So once again, I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday night as we continue the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. Couple of changes in both lineups. Robert Gage stepping in for Tristan Brown. He's injured. And Darren Lee stepping in for Trent Jean on Apopka's side. And speaking of Apopka, that's Taylor clearing the rebound. And back the other way we go. 2-2 ball game, a minute 15 in. And a foul.
Brandon Joseph's first personal foul, the team's first of the period.
So Apopka back to work. Of course, Apopka coached by Scott Williams. A very disappointing season last year, only 11-15. Very unlike a Scott Williams coach team. There's a turnover, getting a paw on that in the pass. So they'll be looking to rebound. Meanwhile, the tray does not drop, no dice. Give the rebound to Darren Leith, who, of course, did not make the start Tuesday night. Apopka sets up. East River first season under Scott O'Gallagher, they won 12-14. So they're looking to take that next step, go above 500. This is Johnson, extended left. Gives that ball off to Taylor, down into the corner, one-on-one. That's Angerville. Drives that baseline, draws contact. And actually, he was the one who committed the contact. So foul on Angerville. Or actually, it went out of bounds, excuse me. No foul. It is a turnover.
What's that? Oh. Coach Bruce.
So we have a stoppage, an official timeout right now. 2-2 ball game, 5:47 first quarter, the third of four games making up the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. Wekiva and Jones will start playing approximately 20 minutes at the conclusion of this game. And the stoppage is because the net over on the far side, that's the left side, looking at your screen, is tangled. So it's going to be a few minutes while we get that situation taken care of. Once again, Mark Barchi, that's the other voice you hear. He's the public address announcer. And I'm Neil Fisher. And thank you for joining us on this Thursday night. We, of course, hope you enjoy our coverage as much as we do enjoy bringing the coverage to you. So also settle in. It's going to be a few minutes. Once again, there is an issue with the net on the left basket, looking at your TV screen.
We appreciate your patience as we're paused here for an official timeout while we do a little repair work on the net. We'll be back to live action in just a moment. We'll take this opportunity to remind you that we have one more game coming up. This is game 3 out of 4 in the 2023 Men's Basketball Preseason Classic. Coming up next will be the final game of the event, and it will be Jones versus Wekiva. And that is scheduled to tip at 7:30. We'll also be live streaming that game just like we are live streaming this one on both YouTube and the NFHS network. So once again, if you have friends or family elsewhere in Apopka, over on the East River side of town, or anywhere in the world, and they weren't able to join us in person tonight, or were not willing to brave the elements to get here, make sure you send them the link and let them know. They can go to the Wekiva Sports channel. Just search for Wekiva Sports on the YouTube app with your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. Or you can also go to nfhsnetwork.com. We simulcast the same broadcast on both channels. On this, it's going to put it on the team side, not necessarily the direction of play. Because it's going to match what goes up there. That's why I made it a basketball symbol and not an arrow. It's an arrow that looks like it's direction of play. All right, we appreciate your patience there. Looks like we have a fresh, brand new nets all strung up nice and tidy, and we are ready to get back to this game. All right, back to live action. The Falcons take over at their own baseline, and now Robert Gage will go to work in the point guard position.
Again, Gage inserted into the lineup tonight for Tristan Brown, who's on the injured reserve list. As we get underway, 2.5 minutes in, 2-2 ball game. East River again in those red jerseys, white numbers and names. Apopka, the white jerseys with the blue numbers and names. And East River throwing that ball out of bounds, so their second turnover. Both these teams won Tuesday night. So they're looking to build on the momentum and the solidness of getting that first victory out of the way. That's Darren Leith, who's also in the lineup for the first time. He did not start on Tuesday due to injury. And a foul.
Block is called against Falcons. Number 1, John Paul Anderson. That's his first personal foul, the team's second of the period. So as those of you who watched Tuesday night's game between East River and Wekiva will know, East River, about 2/3 of their scoring were concentrated in just 2 players. John Paul Anderson, who just got the last basket, was one of those. And Wekiva just did not have an answer, Neil, for the...
Yeah, for the duo.
Yeah, for the
dynamic duo.
Exactly, and so we'll see if the Blue Darters can come up with any answers tonight. There's a nice fading jumper.
Pop and drop from Leith.
Darren Leith adds 2 for the Darters.
The 12-foot fadeaway and Apopka in the lead, 4-2, as we drop under 5 minutes, first quarter, after about 5-minute delay to deal with a tangled net.
Foul called against Darters, number 5, Larson Taylor, his first, team second of the period.
And also, we are a long way from it, but get this out of the way, a change in terms of free throw attempts. FHSAA making that change. No longer will it be 7 fouls per half, and you get automatic free throws if you're on offense. It's now 5 fouls each quarter, and all free throw attempts are 2, no longer 1-on-1, 1-and-1, as the drive and the soft touch from Gage has not paid dividends. Contact, whistle on the rebound attempt. And that'll send Robert Gage to the line for 2 attempts. So again, all free throws now are two attempts. No longer 1-on-1, 1-and-1. And the second free throw drops. 1 of 2 at the line, cuts the lead to 4-3. And Apopka will go back to work in those white jerseys. That's Leith bringing the ball up, goes left side. The attack and making the withdrawal from the bank, Angerville. Nice give and go action from the Blue Darters from Apopka. See if East River can answer. That's Williams slicing through. He gets the ball stripped. Apopka on the transition. And now they take it out. The fake. And out of bounds. That was Angerville throwing the ball out of bounds. And it looked like he was trying to do too many things at once. Back the other way, Apopka, the long jumper, East River, no dice. Leith clears the rebound, and back the other way we go. Trent Jean, who's come in, hands off to Angerville, top of the key. Angerville, that's Jean. Extended right as the clock drops to 3:20. The clap. The support from the East River Bank doesn't do any good, as dropping the deuce is Taylor. Soft touch at the other end. Gage hands off down low to Williams. He can't get the bunny to go. Didn't have the right angle, and it will be a Apopka ball. Three minutes exactly remaining, first quarter. 8-3 lead for Apopka. They have led since the beginning. This is the third of 4 games making up the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. As Jean brings the ball up, the 5'8" sophomore slides it over to Bowden. He had a hand in Tuesday's night victory coming off the bench. And that's Taylor kissing the glass, but refs determined no basket. And a foul.
Number 5, Larson Taylor. That's the second personal foul, team's fourth of this period.
So an opportunity for that lead to grow to 7 and not converted on. And Coach Williams not happy with the call, so I'm talking to our lead official. Nonetheless, 8-3 lead still for Apopka as East River now goes to work, dropping under 3 minutes. Both these teams winning Tuesday night. In the first pair of games, out to Santos. He can't get it to go. Rebound, second attempt. So a couple of opportunities again for East River, unable to get them. And at the other end, it's a turnover.
Butterfingers.
So Apopka doing an excellent job on the boards. 5 defensive rebounds already. But they've also committed 4 turnovers. And now Apopka, man-on-man, full court. It's Paul Anderson who led the team Tuesday night in scoring. He's going one-on-one in a foul.
Foul's called against number 10, Jai Bowden, that's his first personal foul, the team's fifth. Penalty situation. As a reminder, for those of you who are not here on Tuesday night, there is a rules change this year. Instead of having 1-and-1 bonus at 7 fouls in the half and double bonus at 10 fouls in the half, that rule has now changed. It is now more like the NBA penalty rule. It is 2 shots on the 5th foul per quarter.
So Paul Anderson at the line. Again, he was the leading scorer for East River against Wekiva on Tuesday night. A much slower start in terms of the pace. That was actually his first points of this game. See if he can go 2 for 2 at the line. And yes, smooth looking shots both times. As East River gives some pressure
Foul's
to
called
Apopka.
against Falcons. Number 1.
So Gene brings that ball up, crosses midcourt, the big W. Again, Mustang Arena, the site. Wekiva is your home team. They are playing the second game tonight. Both these teams coming off a win Tuesday night. Apopka defeating Jones, East River defeating Wekiva. That's going to go wide right. It's an air ball. Not catching any rim. And give Paul Anderson some credit for that tenacity to come up with that rebound. Certainly wouldn't be the end of the game, certainly wouldn't decide it, but could have gotten some momentum for Apopka, and there's the reversal of that momentum.
Basket scored by Brooklyn Gaddison.
So again, if Apopka drops in that point, we're looking at a 3-possession lead. Instead, it's a 1-possession lead as Gene goes back to work on Paul Anderson, the 6-foot, 160-pound junior. Top of the key, Johnson, one-on-one, tries to drive that lane, runs into some hands, and East River picks up that loose ball at the other end. Paul Anderson stops at the free throw line and gets whacked. So he'll go back to the line for 2 free throws. 1 minute exactly remaining, first quarter.
Darters foul called against Chase Marks, his first. At the line shooting 2, John Paul Anderson.
So Paul Anderson with 2 points. Now 3.
2.
So Paul Anderson for his second free throw, score that as well. 5 of 6 from the line for East River, and we are tied at 8-8. Last minute of the first quarter. Darren Leith bringing up the ball, calls out the signals. One-on-one with Gaddison, still drives over to that right side, the quick outlet to Gene, stop, drains the rain.
3 for Trent Gene.
30 seconds remaining, Paul Anderson goes to the left, stop and go, picks up a double team, kicks it out to that right side. That's Gaden. Handing it off to Schroeder. Back to Gaddison into the corner with Gage. One-on-one against Gene. Gene giving him all kinds of trouble there in terms of driving. Back out to Gaden. Slides through that line. The drive and gets the roll. Drops in the deuce.
Marlon Gaetan for 2.
11-10. 4 seconds remaining. Leith launches. Air ball out of bounds. And that will bring the first quarter to an end. So Apopka led from the beginning, scoring the first points, never relinquishing it, but East River staying close enough to make this a challenge. 11-10 at the end of the first quarter.
Takes us to the end of the first period. Back with more from Mustang Arena in a moment.
And back to live action, beginning of the second quarter. And we actually had a change in the score. It's 11-11. East River did not get that free throw. When it
Foul's
happened.
called against number 0, Robert Gage. His first, the team's first.
So an 11-11 score as we begin. Apopka led throughout that first quarter until the very end. East River has yet to take a lead, slashing and dashing. That's Angerville with the soft deuce off the backboard. And Apopka back in the lead, 13-11. As Paul Anderson brings it up, one-on-one. Turnover. And now a scrum on the floor. That's Angerville picking up the loose ball. And I look to my left, I can see Coach Williams wanted a foul, but the refs disagree. Nonetheless, it is a turnover, and it is Apopka's possession, and most importantly, a chance to build on a 2-point lead as we begin the second quarter. I'm Neil Fisher, along with Mark Barchi. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday night on the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Angerville extended right into the corner, the drive, the slide by Marks, kick it out, and no one there.
Yeah, he thought Fenty was going to zig, and he zagged instead.
Leaf throwing that ball out of bounds. So now Apopka continues in the full court man-to-man a minute into the second quarter. Good defense from both these teams. And speaking of defense, the sleight of hand by Bowden at the other end and drops in the floating in the deuce.
Bowden.
So Apopka takes advantage of the turnovers and the strong defense. A 4-point lead now. They have yet to trail in this game, which means East River has yet to lead. East River staying close. They haven't trailed by more than 2 possessions. That's Paul Anderson. He launches and hits the deck, and we'll have a foul.
John Paul Anderson draws the foul behind the arc. He'll be shooting 3. The foul is called against Darters, number 4. That's Jude Angerville's second personal foul, the team's first of this quarter.
So Paul Anderson, the leading scorer in Tuesday's game against Wekiva. He has yet to score from the floor, but now has 5 free throws and is once again the leading scorer for East River. And I got to tell you, Mark, he has a nice-looking stroke from that free throw line. Also want to thank our behind-the-scenes staff, crew. Of course, they are the broadcast production department students here at Wekiva High School under the direction of Mark Washington. All 3 good. Free throws good from Paul Anderson, and a 15-14 lead now for Apopka. They go back to work. That was Marks, unable to get that soft floater from 10 feet to drop. And now an opportunity for East River to take its first lead of the ball game. 2 minutes in, second quarter. The first of 2 games tonight. Wekiva and Jones will play in the second game. And that will conclude the preseason classic, that second game tonight. In the meantime, sit back, enjoy tonight's game. So far, it's been a good one. Apopka yet to lead by more than 2 possessions. And in the meantime, we have a timeout from East River.
30-second timeout requested by the Falcons. Back with more from Mustang Arena in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, taking you through this 3rd out of 4 games here at the 2023 Wekiva Men's Basketball Preseason Classic as we get back to live action. This has become something of a tradition here at Wekiva. I can't remember the last time Wekiva didn't host a Men's Basketball Preseason Classic. And Apopka has, I think as far back as I can remember, always been a participant. Of course, Wekiva will not play Apopka during the preseason classic because that, of course, will be a home and away series as part of the regular season.
Yeah, geographical rivalry.
But Apopka, as the fellow high school here in Apopka, as we get basket scored by number 30, Isaiah Williams.
And East River with the 16-15 lead, their first of the ball game. As we mentioned throughout, Apopka had led from the beginning, scoring on its first possession, but never by more than 2 possessions. And, of course, East River has done well getting to the free throw line, 9 already, just 3 minutes into the second quarter, and there's offensive goaltending interference.
Basket interference.
And that's really
Falcons ball.
That's a shame for Apopka because that ball was going in. Just some impatience. So, of course, both these teams member of the Metro Conference, which means they will be playing in the Metro versus Florida Challenge next week. That's a 27-game spectacular on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Take Thursday off because, of course, the holiday. In the meantime, score the bank.
Isaiah Williams, back-to-back baskets for the Falcons.
And not only does East River maintain the lead, it's now the largest at 3 points. So Apopka, of course, as the home school, will play twice. They will take on Orlando Christian Prep, the small school powerhouse. They've won, I believe, 9 state championships, maybe 10. As driving that lane and floating in the deuce, that's Bowden.
Jai Bowden adds 2 for the Darters.
In that game, Apopka OCP will take place 4:30 on Wednesday. And then there'll be one of the last games on Saturday. Apopka taking on Lake Region, of course, Coach Williams. That's one of his former stomping grounds. That game tips off at 5:15. And the girls will also be in action after that game, scheduled to go at 6:45. That'll be Apopka versus Evans.
Fouls called against Blue Darters number 24, Chase Marks. His second personal foul, the team's second of the period, and that will send Isaiah Williams to the line, shooting 2.
And East River will be taking on Wekiva High School Saturday at 1:45. So again, that's the Metro versus Florida Challenge next week. Both these teams competing as they are members of the Metro Conference. Of course, we will be giving you live tip-off, first tip-off to the final whistle coverage of that game.
And just a programming note, though, if you're watching on NFHS Network, Apopka will be broadcasting those games on NFHS Network, but it will not be our broadcast. It will just be the generic robo-camera that comes out of the ceiling. Only YouTube will be carrying our full broadcast, and it will be on the Metro versus Florida Challenge channel.
So
foul called against Robert Gage, his second, the team's second.
So back to live action here at Mustang Arena. 18-17 lead for East River. They took the lead about a minute and 20 seconds ago. Got it up to 3. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and stop, pop, no drop from Leaf. Looked good on the attack, but couldn't get the ball to drop. Meanwhile, East River on the transition off the rebound, they are unable to drop the deuce. Couple of attempts, couple of misses, and a couple of transition opportunities not converted. And the score remains 18-17, 3.5 before halftime. Leaf sliding through on that left to right. And a whistle immediately as both players, Leaf and Jordan Scott, hit the deck.
Block is called against Falcons number 2, Jordan Scott. His first, the team's third. That will send the Blue Darters to the free throw line. Shooting 2, number 1, Darren Leaf.
And these will be the first 2 free throw attempts from Apopka. In the meantime, East River has taken 11, with Gian Paul Anderson taking 5 of those 11. 3:30 exactly before halftime. Again, Mustang Arena the site, and if you're new to Central Florida basketball, or even more specifically the Apopka area, the northwest side of Orange County, this is the home facility, the home gym of the Wekiva Mustangs. They are the host, and they will be playing in the second game tonight, of course, as the host. That is their prerogative. And Leaf drops in that first free throw. So we are tied at 18-18. Only the second tie, actually the first tie if you don't include 0-0. And the second one, Leaf gets the roll, so Apopka back in the lead, 19-18. As we get back to live action, Wekiva, the host team, will be playing Jones. That'll be a matchup between two teams still looking for their first win. They went down to feet. Nice soft touch, making the withdrawal.
Basket by Brooklyn Gaddison.
So both Wekiva and Jones falling in their first game to these two teams. And no, this is not a tournament. That was not the intention, that the two teams, the two losers would go on and play and the two winners would play. Just happened to work out that way. As Gaddison follows up his deuce with a strong rebound. And now East River with an opportunity to extend that lead, 20-19. That's Gaydon, drains the rain.
Marlon Gaetan, 3. Timeout, Blue Darters.
So now a 4-point lead for the Falcons. East River, their largest of the game, and they have started to exert themselves here as we've hit the midpoint of the second quarter. 23-19 is the score from Mustang Arena.
I want to remind everyone once again that we are not done here yet. This is game 3 out of 4. We'll have our host school, the Wekiva Mustangs, facing off with the Jones Tigers after the conclusion of this game. And that game will also be live streamed on YouTube and the NFHS network. Back to live action here at Mustang Arena, and it's been a back and forth quarter. Apopka with the early lead, but East River came back and has pretty much been trading blow for blow with the Blue Darters all second quarter. I don't think, Neil, that I've seen either team get more than 2 consecutive baskets unanswered.
No, neither team is larger than a 2-possession lead, and this is actually the largest for East River at 4 points. Apopka led, as Mark alluded to, for first quarter and a half or so. East River sticking around, like we said, never trailing by more than 2 possessions, and so far they have outscored Apopka in the second quarter to take that lead. It's Trent Jean, the 5'8" sophomore. And low pass, tried to shoot it through a horde of East River defenders, and Apopka commits its 7th turnover of this half. There was some contact. Luckily there's some tripping. No call, though. East River maintains possession as we drop to a minute and a half. So East River with an opportunity to take the largest lead of the game for either team now. And a more deliberate pace, moving that ball quickly, but in terms of a shot, a couple players hit the scorer's table, back the other way, block, second attempt, give the deuce.
Basket by East River's number 3, Brandon Joseph.
So Brandon Joseph getting the offensive rebound and kissing the backboard to give East River that 6-point lead. Answer from Apopka. Leaf, stop, pop, and drop.
Jump shot by Taryn Leaf.
25-21, lead back down to 4 quickly. Down to the other end, and that causes a foul as Apopka was out of position on defense. 47.3 seconds remaining. Before halftime. Joseph, spin, handoff. They rotate to the other side, and the basket will not count.
Traveling Darters ball.
So mentioned Apopka so far, 7 turnovers through almost the first half. East River done a much better job possessing the ball, only 4 turnovers, 2 in each quarter. But that's a critical one. It could have put that lead back up to 6 points, perhaps even 3 possessions. And now Apopka with an opportunity to regain some momentum to complete a swing in terms of the point lead. 20 seconds remaining from the right wing. Slides in and out. Leith unable to get the tray to drop. That would have been huge for Apopka. 10 seconds remaining. East River with possession now. And I hear Coach O'Gallagher calling for the last shot. So we're going to see a stoppage No shots, from the corner. Gatlin, short. Rebound. Snagged by Bell, and that brings us to the end of the first half. East River coming from behind. They will take a 4-point lead, 25-21, into halftime.
That takes us to intermission. It's 4-point ball game. 25-21 your score going into the locker rooms here in Game 3 of the 2023 Wekiva Men's Basketball Preseason Classic. The Blue Darters have the opening possession of the third period. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, ready to take you through the third quarter here, and it's been a back and forth one. If you're late joining us, Apopka had the lead, although they never had it by more than a few possessions for the first quarter and a half, and then it's been back and forth ever since. East River finished the first half 4 points on top, 25-21 coming out of intermission.
The lead was never more than 2 possessions, and score now as we start the second half, 25-21. Of course, East River score was 11-11 at the end of the first quarter. East River outscoring Apopka 14-10 in the second, 14-10 in the second. And drain the rain from Marks.
3 for Jude Angerville.
So the first blow of the second half goes to Apopka, and that cuts the lead to 1 point. So your leading scorers at halftime, no surprise for East River, repeating their Tuesday night performance. John Paul Anderson, 7 points. And Isaiah Williams with 6 points. Darren Leith, who did not play on Tuesday night, with 8 points, leading all scorers. As East River looking to regain some momentum in the lead. They will not. Somebody got a hand in there, swipe it, the bounce pass to Leith, who makes the withdrawal from the bank. And Apopka back in the lead by a point. Back at the other end, just enough of a hand. Doing Windex work is Williams. He can't get the second attempt to drop, but possession will remain with East River. So those were the first 2 field goal attempts of the second half for East River. So both teams, as we get the turnover, looking at the field goal percentage, both teams actually, Apopka shooting a bit better, 8 of 18 for East River, so just under 50%. And that, of course, Apopka, 9 of 16, so they're a little bit over 50%. Of course, now that'll drop as they just missed their last field goal attempt. And East River looking to regain the lead now. Back the other way we go off that miss. And turnovers, the other key stat, clearly in East River's favor. They've only committed 4 turnovers, 8 for Apopka. And of course, turnovers mean you get more shots off, and the more shots you take, the more field goal attempts, the more you're likely to make. Hack down low, and 5:50 in the third quarter. That
foul is called against East River's number 55, Marlon Gaetan, his team's first of the period.
They'll send Larson Taylor to the line. Apopka getting only 2 shots, free throw attempts in that first half. They did convert both, and actually free throws was your other key stat. East River taking 11 and making 8, so a 9 attempt differential in that first half, 11-2 in favor of East River. 26-25, 5:50 third quarter. First of 2 games tonight. Wekiva, the host school, skying his Angerville to spin and dropping in the deuce.
Jude Angerville on the layup.
So offensive rebounding playing a role. 28-25 lead now for Apopka. So Wekiva, the host school, will be playing in the second game. They'll take on Jones. Both these teams won Tuesday night. The launch from Paul Anderson, drain the rain.
3 for John Paul Anderson.
And we're tied for a third time tonight.
Ready?
At 28 all as we approach 5 minutes remaining. This is the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. Contact does not matter.
Jude Angerville. 11 points for him tonight.
And Apopka back in the lead by a deuce as we drop under 5 minutes. Been a good game, not a lot of lead changes. Neither team with more than a 2-possession lead, though. Apopka led for the first quarter and a half roughly. East River seizing the second 4 minutes of that second quarter. And they went into halftime with the 4-point lead. Apopka outscoring East River now at the beginning of the third quarter to retake the lead. Someone got a hand on that ball, swatted away, and back the other way we go. Transition opportunity, and making the withdrawal from the bank.
Chase Marks on the transition layup.
So offensive rebounding and turnovers, although not officially a turnover, but the block shot, same impact as a turnover. Apopka's MO the last couple of possessions, and now we do get a direct turnover.
Kick ball. Darters ball.
So only 4 turnovers committed in the first half by East River. They've now committed 2 in the first not even quite 4 minutes of the third quarter.
Delay of game warning called on the Falcons.
And as you just heard Mark Barchi say, delay of game called on the Falcons. It is on East River.
First one's free. If it happens again, it's technical foul.
And for those of you new to Wekiva High School Athletics, thank you for joining us. And Mark, of course, the other voice I just told you about. He's our public address announcer here at Mustang Arena on the campus. He's been doing that for 17 years since the school opened in 2007. As possession will remain with Apopka. They have the 4-point lead. As Apopka has won this quarter convincingly, 11-3 so far. Halfway point, 3:58 before the end of the quarter. That's Gene looking for someone to inbound, and he can't find anybody.
5 seconds on the inbound. Falcons ball.
So credit East River, good team defense. Dean, no one to pass to. Apopka full court, man-to-man. They've played that throughout this game. Gage crosses midcourt, one-on-one with Angerville. Spins away, does not shoot. Back to the top of the key. East River rotates to the right wing. Back up to the top, still looking for that shot. No shot clock in high school basketball in Florida. Open on the corner. Drain the rain. Joseph.
Brandon Joseph, 4-3.
Cuts the lead to 1, 32-31. 3.5 remaining, third quarter. Little slip by Leith. Does not travel, though. Hands off to Johnson. Johnson gets picketed. The long outlet to Gage, and he has the easy uncontested deuce going off the backboard.
Transition layup for Robert Gage.
So a couple of turnovers in the last 2 possessions for Apopka. Actually 3 possessions. Nonetheless, that's 4 points, actually 5 points in favor of East River, and they have retaken the lead. 4th lead change of this game. Down low, Angerville one-on-one, spin, and floats in the deuce. 5 lead changes now. This one puts Apopka back in the lead. 2:40 third quarter. That's Gaddison getting the ball in the lane, and the whistle, a turnover.
Traveling Darters ball.
So, of course, Apopka mentioned in that first half, 8 turnovers compared to 4 for East River. 3 now in this quarter for East River, 2 for Apopka. So certainly Apopka so far has reversed those turnovers. But of course, 2 turnovers were deadly to him, lethal. 5 points scored, and that put East River in the lead there for a couple of minutes. For a couple of possessions, excuse me. Back down along the line, Angerville one-on-one, and he loses the ball. Actually, that's Taylor, excuse me. 2:18 remaining. Third quarter. Wekiva and Jones will take to the court about 20 minutes at the end of this game, and that will conclude the preseason classic. That's Angerville. Stop, go. Slices through the lane and takes a foul, gets whacked.
Foul is called against Falcons, number 15, Brooklyn Gaddison. That's his first personal foul, the team's second of the half. That will send the Darters to the free throw line. Jude Angerville shooting 2.
And as you just heard, Mark Barchi, my on-air partner, is also the public address announcer. Got a couple of free throws now. Apopka took only 2 in that first half. They're now up to 6 when this pair will be completed. We do have a stoppage as Swatter has wiped off the free throw, the paint. Also, if you're new to high school basketball or if you just have not heard, there has been a change initiated by the FHSAA, Florida High School Athletic Association, regarding free throw attempts. No longer will it be 7 fouls per half and you go to the line. It is now 5 per period or quarter, and no more 1-and-1. It's all 2 free throw attempts. So, second free throw does not drop either for Angerville. 0 of 2 from the line. And golden opportunity for Apopka to extend that lead to 3 points. Goes by the wayside. 2 minutes, third quarter, 34-33. Apopka in the lead. They have led for the majority of this game, although neither team has led for by more than 2 points. And back the other way we go following the turnover. As we drop under 2 minutes, Apopka more deliberate pace in terms of that taking the shot. Angerville left wing extended. 1-on-1. A lot of hands reaching out in the whistle. 1:37, third quarter. And once again, want to acknowledge the rest of our crew. They work behind the scenes very diligently. That is the broadcast production department students here at Wekiva High School under the direction of Mark Washington. They handle the video aspects of the broadcast. The drive and the foul, that will send Jolly Bowden to the line.
Foul is called against number 2, Jordan Scott. His second personal foul. The team's third. At the line, number 10, Jai Bowden.
So Jai Bowden at the line with 4 points. And Apopka continuing its dry spell from the free throw line. That's 3 points they've left on the table now. Could be a 2-possession lead. 1:20 remaining, third quarter. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday night. Thursday before Thanksgiving as we heat up the basketball season getting underway. And another foul. This time it'll be against Apopka.
Darters foul called against number 4, Jude Angerville. It's his third personal foul, the team's first. Once again, your attention, please, those of you here in the arena. That Courtney Van Henderson driving a silver Lincoln tag Y14AA. That vehicle is illegally parked and needs to be moved immediately. We appreciate cooperation.
East River back to work, trailing by a point as we reach 1 minute, third quarter. The long pass over to Gage. Good job by Gene to cover that on defense. Still no shot for East River. 1-on-1, Scott. Back up to Gage, who swings it around to Paul Anderson, and he throws up that shot. Air ball out of bounds. Something we don't see very often. There's an off-target shot from Paul Anderson, regardless of where. East River catches the break, though. Ball last touched by Apopka. East River maintains possession as we are now under 1 minute, third quarter. Picked up by Apopka. Back out to the top. Paul Anderson looks over to Gallagher, the coach. Barking in instructions. Stutter right, left. Pass over. Unable to take the shot. 30 seconds remaining, third quarter. East River down by a point. Paul Anderson, 1-on-1 with Bowden. Tries that right side, comes back to the left, and draws the foul. 23.6 seconds, third quarter.
Foul is called against Darters, number 10, Jai Bowden. That's his second personal foul, the team's second of the period.
And now Bowden comes out.
Checking in for him is Darren Leaf.
23.6 seconds remaining, third quarter. 1 point lead for Apopka. East River with possession in those white jerseys. The pass inbound from Gage to Paul Anderson. Leading scorer tonight and Tuesday night, the first game of the season. Back to Gage. Planks off the front iron. 12 seconds remaining. Can Apopka add to the lead? Gene slides around and drops in the deuce.
Basket by number 12, Trent Jean.
One last shot from East River. They got it down quickly, but could not get the tray to drop. And so Apopka back in the lead. They retake the lead in that third quarter. 36-33, 1 quarter remaining from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We are ready to start the fourth quarter, and Apopka has turned their fortunes in the last 8 minutes. They went into the locker room trailing by a couple of possessions. Now they lead by 2 possessions, 36-33 the score going into the final 8 minutes here in the preseason classic. Again, we want to welcome you to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, joined by Neil Fisher as the Falcons have the opening possession of the fourth quarter. And of course, Neil, this is a preseason game. To use the vernacular of whose line is it anyway, it's the game where everything is made up and the points don't matter. So both of these teams are going to walk away from tonight's game with a 0-0 record. However, they will also walk away with valuable information about what they are doing well and what they need to work on. Yeah. Foul is called against Darters. Number 1, Darren Leaf. That's his first and the team's third.
Yeah, first opportunity for both of the coaches and the players to see how all the practicing and training during the offseason is panning out against live action. As Paul Anderson goes back to the line. 16 seconds into the fourth quarter, and a 1 point lead now for Apopka. Paul Anderson continues to not only get to the free throw line but convert free throw attempts. East River full court, man-to-man. Apopka's gone full court, man-to-man throughout the whole game. Seen it more sporadically with East River. Of course, both these teams coming off wins.
Darter basket from Larson Taylor.
Both these teams coming off wins Tuesday night, the very first action of the 2023-24 season. So both these teams looking to build on those victories, get some momentum, further solidify that momentum. And now the Apopka bench coming up with the cheer as the team's on defense. Does no good.
Angel Velez and 1. Foul's called against Darters number 24, Chase Marks, his third, the team's second of the fourth quarter.
So Isaiah Williams, as you just heard Mark say, will be at the line.
Williams shooting 1.
Williams with 6 points. And unable to drop the +1. And so Apopka remains in the lead. 38-37, a minute into the fourth quarter. Swipe, sleight of hand, and back the other way we go. East River with a second consecutive opportunity to take the lead. And they will have that opportunity at the free throw line. So East River coming off a 12-14 season. The
Foul called against number 1, Darren Lee. His second, the team's third. At the line shooting 2, Jordan Scott.
The first with Scott O'Gallagher at the head, at the helm. So they're certainly looking to take that next step, move past being a 500 team. The Apopka Blue Darters under Scott Williams last year, falling to 11-15, and second of 2 free throws good, so we're tied at 38 all. A very unlike record, very below par record for a team coached by Scott Williams. So Apopka looking to rebound from that poor season. Of course, they had several injuries. This is Angerville, one-on-one. Contact, slides off, creates some opening. Air ball, gets his own rebound. Back into the corner. Angerville with another rebound and makes the withdrawal from the bank. So 3 offensive rebounds, and Apopka takes advantage, goes back into the lead, 40-38. And the timeout called by Coach O'Gallagher.
Full timeout requested by the Falcons.
We'll come back, 6:14 remaining from Mustang Arena, 40-38. Apopka, this is the preseason classic. Back to live action from Mustang Arena. The host school, Wekiva, will play the second game. In the meantime, we have a classic as far as competition. Apopka in the white jerseys, holding a 40-38 lead over East River. Only 5 exchanges of the lead. However, neither team is led by more than 4 points. And now an opportunity for Apopka to up that lead to 2 possessions, 5:56 remaining. Good defense on both ends. That's why it's been a classic competition. Not a lot of mistakes. Down low. That's Johnson. Can't get the deuce to drop, but he will go to the line. Again, with Apopka holding the 2-point lead. So Jermichael Johnson at the free throw line, the 6'3" junior, scored the first free throw attempt. Johnson with, that was his first point of the game. Bends at the knee, launches short on that second one. Several hands picking up his own rebound. Johnson Can't get the second offensive rebound. That goes to Paul Anderson. And off to the races we go. The turnover. Another turnover, so pair of turnovers at the other end. Sliding through and making the withdrawal, Santos.
Anthony Santos. 4 points for him tonight, and we're down to a 1-point game. And Neil, for a game that technically doesn't matter and doesn't count, this is actually going to be a thrilling finish.
Yeah, well, once again, this has been a classic game in terms of competition. Only 5 lead changes, but neither team leading by more than 2 possessions. 5:06 remaining.
Foul called against Marlon Gaetan, his second, the team's second of the quarter.
And Joey Bowden will inbound the ball. They go to the backcourt. Trent Jean going one-on-one with Scott. Both teams have played full court man-to-man for the majority of tonight's game. Second game, about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one, Wekiva, the host school, taking on Jones. Both those teams will be looking to rebound from losing Tuesday night in their very first action. It's Trent Jean now, one-on-one, continues against Scott.
Traveling, Falcons ball.
So the 14th turnover of the game for Apopka with 4:34 remaining. Now, they did have 8 in the first half, so slightly, well, actually they're on pace to match that number in the second half. And now Apopka going to a full court trap, trying to change the pace, throw something new in the way of East River, and it does have its dividends. Ball will remain with Apopka.
Timeout, Falcons, 30-second timeout requested by East River.
But East River unable to get into its offensive set. So 41-40 your score, 4:22 remaining from Mustang Arena. Mustang Arena, the site. The home team, Wekiva, will be playing in the second game. In the meantime, we've had a great back-and-forth game, quite competitive between East River and Apopka. Apopka leading for the majority of the game. Right now, 1-point lead. Can that be 3? Leith intercepts the pass, transition, and makes a withdrawal.
And Leith steals a Darter layup. Neil, it feels like it's been a while since we had a breakaway basket.
Yeah.
We had a string of them in about the second half of the third quarter, and then we've kind of hit a slow streak here in terms of fast breaks, but now Apopka turns one in and pulls it back to a 3-point lead. Now to the paint, Isaiah Williams not able to make anything happen, and the Darters have an opportunity to string together 2 unanswered baskets and make it a 2-possession game, put a little distance out from the Falcons as we close in on the 3-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that turnover, the East River one, look at it this way, they could have taken the lead. Instead, they're now facing the potential of being down by 2 possessions as Johnson fakes, stop, pops, and drops.
Sure, Michael Johnson from Larson Taylor.
And again, what could have been a lead for East River is now a 2-possession deficit, and that includes a 3-point field goal as the deficit is 5.
Foul called against Darters number 10. Jai Bowden, that's his 3rd personal foul, the team's 4th of the period. Checking into the game for Apopka, number 4, Jude Angerville.
So East River will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. If you are not familiar, if you did not hear, the FHSAA has changed the free throw attempt rules. No longer will there be 7 per half. It will be 5 per quarter or period. And no longer will there be 1 and 1s. It's now 2 free throws. So under 3 minutes, East River trailing by 2 possessions. And just that quickly, what could have been a lead for East River is now they need to have a good, solid offensive possession and give Apopka credit. They forced the turnover.
5 seconds under close guard. Darters ball.
So now East River absolutely needs to come up with a stop, trailing by 5 points. You don't want it to get larger than the lead to get larger than 5 points. Certainly 7 points makes it 3 possessions. And Coach Williams wants to talk over this possession, what to do.
Timeout, Apopka.
So we'll be back with the last 2:33 remaining. See if Apopka can extend the lead to 3 points. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. 2:33 remaining in the first of 2 games. It's been a competitive game throughout, neither team leading by more than 2 possessions. But Apopka, the home team for this game, with an opportunity to break that trend, 45-40 lead over East River. Both these teams coming in off of victory Tuesday night, the very first action of the season. And just as quickly as Apopka created the opportunity to go up by 3 possessions, East River snatches that opportunity away. So the turnover, exactly what East River needed. Apopka remains in their full court, man-to-man. The inbound pass to Paul Anderson. Back to Gage, who takes it over midcourt. And that was Leith getting a hand in there, but couldn't catch up to the ball. 2:24 remaining. Wekiva and Jones, Wekiva the host school for the 4 games which make up the preseason classic. They'll be taking on Jones, and both those teams looking to rebound from losses. Slash through the lane, slash and dash, score the deuce for Paul Anderson. So as exactly what the East River Falcons needed coming out of that timeout, a stop and then the basket at the other end. Stop, pop, and drop for Leith.
Leith picks up 2 for the Darters, and thank goodness his teammate there, I think it was Johnson, didn't get to it, because that would have actually knocked it out of the basket and caused basket interference.
Which we saw back in the first quarter. Minute 40 remaining.
Nice block there, beautiful from Larson Taylor.
Yeah, exactly what Apopka needed at the other end. Leith, he gets tripped on the way to the basket, 1:32 remaining, and he will go to the line. Opportunity to get the lead up to 3 possessions.
Foul is called against number 0, Robert Gage. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 4th of the the 4th quarter. That puts the Darters at the free throw line.
Leith with
Darren Leith will be shooting 2.
Leith with 14 points, and that last timeout call by East River was with, I believe it was 2:40 remaining, and they did exactly what they needed to do coming out of that timeout, scoring a basket or getting a stop on Apopka. Apopka had possession East River gets the stop, turning the ball over, and then they come down the other way and score the deuce, the basket, to cut the lead back down to 1 point. Cut the lead down to one possession, but Apopka answers those two possessions with what exactly they needed to do, which is the same. They stopped East River, and then they come down, and now they have an opportunity to score a basket, score points. And actually it'll be two consecutive possessions they score points, as Leaf gets the first free throw to drop. So 6-point lead, the largest of the game for either team, with 1:32 remaining. 2 of 2 from the line. So once again, East River did what they needed to do coming out of the break, getting a stop and then the basket, but Apopka has now gotten a stop on East River, sandwiched in between 4 points, 2 possessions, and that has further extended their lead to the largest of the game, 49-42. Apopka 49, East River 42. That 7-point lead, the largest of the game for either team. 1:32 remaining. This is the third of 4 games in the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic. Stick around, about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this game, we'll have the final game, Wekiva and Jones. And now East River needs points, and they need points in a hurry. With 1:20 remaining, that's Paul Anderson trying to make something happen, and he does, at least in terms of an opportunity. He'll go to the line.
Foul's called against number 24, Chase Marks. His 4th personal foul at the line, shooting 2, is John Paul Anderson.
So Paul Anderson with 14 points, but these 2 points, if he can convert, will be the most important of the game. It'll keep East River within shouting range with only 1:20 remaining. So both teams will be in bonus the rest of the way. And if it looks unfamiliar with those 5 fouls, that's because there was a rule change during the offseason. The FHSA going from 7 fouls per half to 5 per period to get that bonus. And in the meantime, with 1:20 remaining, Coach Gallagher calls that timeout, a couple of points, and now East River needs to stop. 49-44 from Mustang Arena.
Full timeout requested by the Falcons.
And welcome back to Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. This is the 2023 Wekiva Mustangs Preseason Classic, and we've had a good one here. The first of 2 games tonight on the back end of this Classic. 49-44 lead for Apopka with possession, as Bowden does a good job of getting that ball in. Now full court man-to-man, and East River unable to get the turnover, retreats. They need a stop, though, down by 2 possessions. Approaching 1 minute. That's Leith, the leading scorer, with 16 points. Apopka doing a nice job of rotating that ball until That turnover, the ball, hand on the ball by Paul Anderson, but he did have to commit the foul.
Push is called against number 1, John Paul Anderson. That's his 3rd personal foul. The team's 5th penalty situation. At the line, shooting 2 for Apopka, Larson Taylor.
Both teams will be shooting fouls, free throws the rest of the way. Exactly 1 minute with with Taylor at the line, the 6'5" junior. And can't get that first one to slide in. Rolled on the rim for a couple seconds. Important free throw. Get that lead up to 6 points, a pair of trays. And he does do that. So as we get another whistle, only 1 second coming off the clock. Didn't get quite as many points as he could have, that being Taylor on the free throws, but he does get 1 of 2, which was more important because, again, that puts the lead at 6.
Foul is called against number 1, Darren Leaf. That's his 3rd. At the line, shooting penalty, number 1, John Paul Anderson.
So the lead is now at 6 points. Paul Anderson gets that lead back down to 5. Opportunity to get it down to 4. This is an important free throw because it now means two 2-point field goals. You don't need a 3-pointer. Man, full court, man to man. They can't quite get the turnover.
Hold is called against number 1, John Paul Anderson. That's his 4th. The Darters continue into the penalty situation. At the line, shooting 2.
So again,
number 1, Darren Leaf.
Again, both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. The rule is now 5 per period, 5 fouls per period.
And Neil, that actually changes the math a little bit. I know that double bonus and 10 fouls and a half or 5 fouls and a quarter kind of amounts to the same difference, but what it means is that it changes what some coaches call the red defense. When you're behind by a little bit with less than 2 minutes to play and you start going into a deliberate fouling strategy, it kind of changes the math a little bit because you get the second free throw regardless of whether or not you hit the first one.
And a huge opportunity for East River, might be their last of the game with 52 seconds remaining. The missed free throws.
Yeah, they couldn't get the rebound, though.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that rebound, that is huge.
Foul called against number 30, Isaiah Williams, his 1st. Penalty continues. At the line, shooting 2 for Apopka, number 5, Larson Taylor. And Neil, even though this is a game where technically the outcome doesn't matter in terms of the record, it's not that there aren't any stakes here. First of all, it does give you that momentum, that psychological boost going into the regular season to finish on a win.
It takes the pressure off moving forward to get that first win out of the way.
And second of all, it gives you valuable practice with the end game strategy, which when you have a back and forth contest, regardless of whether you're on the winning or losing side of it, this is great experience for both the Blue Darters and the Falcons.
So
the Blue Darters take their penultimate timeout, full timeout called by Apopka. That leaves each team with 1 full timeout remaining. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We want to remind you that we have another game coming up right after this one. That is scheduled for a 7:30 start time. We're already 6 minutes behind that. But right about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this game, we will go right into our 4th and final event, and that'll be the Jones Tigers taking on your host, Wekiva Mustangs.
So a 51-46 lead for Apopka. They will have possession of the ball, and they have about 10 offensive rebounds. Not a lot, but the last 3 have been huge. They've come off of free throws. Opportunity for East River to cut into that lead that did not materialize. 40 seconds now, and now East River has to foul to stop that clock.
Jordan Scott is called on the foul. It's his 4th. Penalty continues. At the line, shooting 2 for the Blue Darters, number 24, Chase Marks.
6 opportunities in the last 3 possessions at the free throw line for Apopka, and they've only converted 1 of them. But East River has not been able to get that rebound, and that's kept the lead at those 5 points in 2 possessions.
Yeah, Neil, you have to do one of 2 things right in the closing minutes if you are in this close game situation. You have the lead. You can either hit your foul shots or you can get your offensive boards. And in this case, Apopka's doing the latter. Now they will finally hit one with Marks here.
So that makes it a 6-point lead. And now that means 2 3-pointers are needed by East River. There's the 1 attempt, and it does not go in, rattled out. Larson unable to hold it, swiped away from Paul Anderson, and he gets whacked. And that is that's a foul that makes coaches here turn gray.
Foul is called against Darters number 5, Larson Taylor. That's his 3rd. And that's a penalty situation, but I believe it was a shooting foul anyway, so John Paul Anderson will shoot 2.
So, again, what makes coaches here turn gray is not the free throws themselves, but it's the fact that the clock stops.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary foul there because, frankly, Apopka could have afforded to give up 2 points.
Yeah, the onus to make something happen is on East River right now, not Apopka. As long as Apopka inbounds the ball.
So now the net result is that you still ended up with those 2 points on the board, but you stopped the clock in the process.
21.5 seconds remaining.
Foul is called against number 1, John Paul Anderson. That's his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game with 20 points for East River.
And as you just heard Mark say, of course, if you tuned in late, as Mark Barchi, our public address announcer here at Wekiva, he's been doing that responsibility dutifully since the school opened 17 years ago. Paul Anderson now out of the game, the leading scorer for both teams. Only 21.5 seconds remaining. East River's going to have to find points and points quickly from someone else as Leith buries both free throws, and I think that will just about do it. One last gasp for East River. There's the attempt. Nope, off the rim, rebound by Lawson, hauled down, and that should close out the victory. 11.6 seconds remaining, 6-point lead.
Foul called against Falcons number 30, Isaiah Williams. His 2nd. Penalty continues at the line, shooting 2, number 5, Larson Taylor.
So Taylor will go to the line with 5 points, but if he can get both of these, that should secure the game, an 8-point lead with only 11 seconds remaining. And he can't get the first. So now if he gets this one, that does make it, still makes it a 3-possession lead. So it's been a good game throughout. Not a lot of lead changes, only 6. Apopka led for the majority until about 2 minutes remaining. East River, neither team led by more than 2 possessions. And the difference...
Held ball, possession, Falcons.
And the difference was in the last minute or so, 3 consecutive possessions in which Apopka drew a foul. They missed 5 of 6, but got the offensive rebound. And that was where the game was won, secured by Apopka. Your final score, 54-48. Mark, take us to the finish line.
Takes us to the end of the ball game. 54-48 is the final score here in Game 3 of the 2023 Wekiva Men's Basketball Preseason Classic. We'd like to thank everyone who came out to support your Blue Darter and Falcon athletes. And also special thanks to those of you who joined us online on YouTube or the NFHS network. Don't go anywhere. Game 4 is coming up next. And that will be the Wekiva Mustangs against the Jones Tigers. If you're watching us on YouTube, just keep it right there. We've got this live stream programmed to automatically send you to the next one as soon as we terminate this live stream. If you're watching us on the NFHS network, you will need to exit out of the original live stream, and we'll join you on the next live stream in right about 15 minutes. For those of you here in the arena, sit tight. Don't go anywhere except the concession stand. Game 4 coming up next.